Question 13. What is DES? Answer. DES is the Data Encryption Standard, an encryption block cipher defined and endorsed by the US government in 1977 as an official standard. The details can be found in the latest official FIPS Federal Information Processing Standards publication concerning DES. It was originally developed at IBM. DES has been extensively studied since its publication and is the most well-known and widely used crypto system in the world. DES is a symmetric crypto system. When used for communication, both sender and receiver must know the same secret key, which is used both to encrypt and decrypt the message. DES can also be used for single-user encryption, such as to store files on a hard disk in encrypted form in a multi-user environment. Secure key distribution may be difficult. Public key cryptography provides an ideal solution to this problem. Question 14. At what point does an attack become practical? Answer. There is no easy answer to this question since it depends on many distinct factors. Not only must the work and computational resources required by the cryptanalyst be reasonable, but the amount and type of data required for the attack to be successful must also be taken into account. One classification distinguishes among cryptanalytic attacks according to the data they require in the following way: chosen plaintext or chosen ciphertext, known plaintext, and ciphertext only. This classification is not particular to secret key ciphers and can be applied to cryptanalytic attacks on any cryptographic function. Question 15. How can data compression be used with encryption? Answer. Data compression removes redundant character strings in a file. This means that the compressed file has a more uniform distribution of characters. In addition to providing shorter plaintext and ciphertext, which reduces the amount of time needed to encrypt, decrypt and transmit a file, the reduced redundancy in the plaintext can potentially hinder certain cryptanalytic attacks. By contrast, compressing a file after encryption is inefficient. The ciphertext produced by a good encryption algorithm should have an almost statistically uniform distribution of characters. As a consequence, a compression algorithm should be unable to find redundant patterns in such text and there will be little, if any, data compression. In fact, if a data compression algorithm is able to significantly compress encrypted text, then this indicates a high level of redundancy in the ciphertext which, in turn, is evidence of poor encryption. Question 16. What are algebraic attacks? Answer. Algebraic attacks are a class of techniques which rely for their success on some block cipher exhibiting a high degree of mathematical structure. For instance, it is conceivable that a block cipher might exhibit what is termed a group structure. If this were the case, then encrypting a plaintext under one key and then encrypting the result under another key would always be equivalent to single encryption under some other single key. If so, then the block cipher would be considerably weaker, and the use of multiple encryption would offer no additional security over single encryption. For most block ciphers, the question of whether they form a group is still open. For DES, however, it is known that the cipher is not a group. Question 17. What is a weak key for a block cipher? Answer. Weak keys are secret keys with a certain value for which the block cipher in question will exhibit certain regularities in encryption or, in other cases, a poor level of encryption. For instance, with DES there are 4 keys for which encryption is exactly the same as decryption. This means that if one were to encrypt twice with one of these weak keys, then the original plaintext would be recovered. For IDEA there is a class of keys for which cryptanalysis is greatly facilitated and the key can be recovered. However, in both these cases, the number of weak keys is such a small fraction of all possible keys that the chance of picking one at random is exceptionally slight. In such cases, they pose no significant threat to the security of the block cipher when used for encryption. Question 18. What is linear cryptanalysis? Answer. Linear cryptanalysis was first devised by Matsui and Yamagishi in an attack on Phil. It was extended by Matsui to attack DES. Linear cryptanalysis is a known plaintext attack and uses a linear approximation to describe the behavior of the block cipher. Given sufficient pairs of plaintext and corresponding ciphertext, bits of information about the key can be obtained and increased amounts of data will usually give a higher probability of success. Question 19. What is differential cryptanalysis? Answer. Differential cryptanalysis is a type of attack that can be mounted on iterative block ciphers. These techniques were first introduced by Murphy in an attack on Field 4, but they were later improved and perfected by Baham and Shamir, who used them to attack DESX. Differential cryptanalysis is basically a chosen plaintext attack and relies on an analysis of the evolution of the differences between two related plaintexts as they are encrypted under the same key. By careful analysis of the available data, probabilities can be assigned to each of the possible keys and eventually the most probable key is identified as the correct one. Question 20. What is exhaustive key search? Answer. Exhaustive key search, or brute force search, is the basic technique of trying every possible key in turn until the correct key is identified. To identify the correct key, it may be necessary to possess a plaintext and its corresponding ciphertext, or if the plaintext has some recognizable characteristic, ciphertext alone might suffice. Exhaustive key search can be mounted on any cipher, and sometimes a weakness in the key schedule of the cipher can help improve the efficiency of an exhaustive key search attack. Advances in technology and computing performance will always make exhaustive key search an increasingly practical attack against keys of a fixed length. When DESX was designed, it was generally considered secure against exhaustive key search without a vast financial investment in hardware. Over the years, this line of attack will become increasingly attractive to a potential adversary. Question 21. What is a Feistel cipher? Answer. Feistel ciphers are a special class of iterated block ciphers where the ciphertext is calculated from the plaintext by repeated application of the same transformation or round function. Feistel ciphers are also sometimes called DESX-like ciphers. In a Feistel cipher, the text being encrypted is split into two halves. The round function f is applied to one half using a subkey, and the output of f is exclusive ORed with the other half. The two halves are then swapped. Each round follows the same pattern except for the last round where there is no swap. Question 22. What is an iterated block cipher? Answer. An iterated block cipher is one that encrypts a plaintext block by a process that has several rounds. In each round, the same transformation or round function is applied to the data using a subkey. The set of subkeys are usually derived from the user-provided secret key by a key schedule. Question 23. What is a block cipher? Answer. A block cipher transforms a fixed-length block of plaintext data into a block of ciphertext data of the same length. This transformation takes place under the action of a user-provided secret key. Decryption is performed by applying the reverse transformation to the ciphertext block using the same secret key. The fixed length is called the block size, and for many block ciphers, the block size is 64 bits.